Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Droid Life Show. We are here in episode 12, post-CES. Feels good to actually be back in this chair and not the tiny little cubicle side-by-side with Tim.
Oh, come on.
All that gets over done. Anyway, we got the whole team here. I'm Kellen. We also have Tim, Ron, and Eric. Everybody say hi real quick.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hola.
I think that was a beer cheers out of Tim.
It was.
Feel sort of left out.
Hola.
So anyway, welcome back. Regular program tonight, not special CES edition or anything like that. But we do want to talk a little bit about our final thoughts on CES now that it's over. I also want to talk about this HTC M7 that has been everywhere today and what we think it looks like. Let's talk about Google Glass a little bit since there's hackathons going on in I think a few weeks, so we might get some first looks at that and things like that. Yeah, that Sprint Galaxy Nexus, I don't know if you guys care about that. It just got 4.2.1, and the Verizon version, nowhere in sight. We'll also just throw out some predictions for the rest of the year. It should be another big year. We sort of know a schedule, I think, as to what's coming, but we'll sort of share our thoughts on that. Talk about some apps, wrap up, and yeah, another good Droid Life show ahead of us. So let's talk about final thoughts on CES. I wrote up a quick piece about it after what seemed like every tech writer on the planet just destroyed the show and said, I think somebody actually said that CES is a dead show and that it's gone and it's going to die and go away. And I sort of said, you know, CES, yes, this year was a little bit boring. Tim and I still had a blast. It's not necessarily a mobile show, I don't think. I think for the last couple of years when we saw the sort of rise of Android and LTE and just the smartphone in general, it became somewhat of a mobile show, but it's always sort of been just a consumer tech show with TVs and, you know, Blu-ray players and accessories and all that stuff, which is what it was this year while there was still a little bit of mobile tossed in. So no, I don't think CES is going to die anytime soon. It's still the biggest show on Earth. Well, I think, what did they announce? 150,000 people were there this year, which was another record. I mean, I think they've broken a record every single year. So CES, while not the most exciting from an Android perspective, still a big show. Still a ton of people with bird flu and masks on, and I don't know, we had a good time. Tim, what are your final thoughts on CES and the week that was?
Yeah, I think, well, in comparison to previous years, I think it has changed a lot. It's not so much kind of focusing, at least from what we knew it, as kind of like a mobile show, and now you got the Mobile World Congress and CTIA, and the companies just even throwing their own events to release phones and all that stuff. So I think we have to kind of stop looking at it through the eyes of just mobile lovers and as more as like tech lovers. And I was telling you earlier, I was like, why is everyone so jaded? It seems like anything that gets announced is just not good enough for them almost, you know? Man, we got to talk about flexible displays, octa-core chips, NVIDIA doing their big stuff. I mean, really, there was a lot of cool stuff I thought come out of CES this year. So I would never say like the show's dying or anything like that. I think you just have to look at it from a different perspective. So.
Yeah, I think we were a little spoiled. The first couple of years that, you know, Droid Life existed, we had, you know, the year of LTE and like the Bionic and all those phones. And then the next year was the year of the tablet, so we saw like all these tablets. And then this year there wasn't that new thing to sort of dominate the show. But we still got the whole new Snapdragon lineup of processors. We got the Tegra 4, Project Shield. We got the Samsung Exynos Octa, so we got that. You know, Sony might have actually made a smartphone comeback with their two new phones. They're actually really nice handsets. You know, and then the rest of the stuff was a lot of handsets that are going, you know, directly to China or something like that. But if you really start thinking back to it, it wasn't that bad for mobile. We just didn't get, I don't think, the U.S. carriers doing much. You know, AT&T didn't have anything big. Verizon didn't have anything big. Sprint, T-Mobile, obviously not. So maybe that's what everyone's so disappointed about. But Ron or Eric, did you guys, I mean, you sort of saw it from the other view. Like, we were on the floor and you guys watched all the stories coming out. Disappointing to you? Is there anything that you really loved about it? Just any thoughts in general? I'll start with Ron.
I think for me, I mean, the biggest thing that I was stoked about was Pebble finally getting a kind of sort of ship date.
Yes.
So I'm really, really excited about that, especially after they showed the most recent demo, just showing, you know, shaking it and everything else like that. I keep shaking my own watch and hoping that it lights up like that one's going to. Just the way that's like that kind of stuff, like seeing projects like that, you know, come, you know, starting to come out and being released and stuff like that. So stuff like that was cool. The Vizio tablet that they're coming out with that's running stock Android, I thought that was pretty interesting. Everybody that I saw play with it said that it was super, super light. So, and Vizio's been kind of trying to push this with their Windows laptops, saying that, you know, having them be totally stock Windows. And so just seeing Vizio kind of try to push that and change their mind about some of that stuff and start to push stock Android devices out there is kind of cool. I don't know if they'll be successful. We'll see. It depends on, you know, how all that stuff lines up. But, you know, if the price point's right and everything else like that. So it's I mean, I think the thing is this year for CES, we're seeing some advances in some areas, but really overall it's the same old stuff for the most part. But we are seeing some stuff hardware-wise, and I think that's been an interesting thing. They're seeing like the different gadgets that people are coming out with, and Pebble being, you know, the top one for me. I'm super excited to get mine. So
Yeah, did you back Pebble?
yeah, I did.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait till that thing ships. And you talked about just the small gadgets and stuff, and I think it was like The Verge or somebody wrote it was like the year that Kickstarter took over CES or something, because it was all these like up and coming startup sort of things, like that Oculus Rift gaming thing. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was ridiculous.
It looks awesome.
It does look awesome. So yeah, it was a bunch of like smaller projects that we either saw for the second time now that they've been funded and stuff, and now they're like almost coming to reality, which is kind of cool. I just think we were spoiled for the last 2 years on the mobile front, Android. But now Android's this like mature platform that's already there. It's no longer like a new surprise. We only get that now when Google does something. Yeah. So Eric, did you have any thoughts on CES? Final thoughts?
I mean, like Ron said, it was just a bunch of, you know, little things other than the Project Shield and 4K TVs that everyone can't afford without taking out a loan. So, you know, it wasn't bad, but it just, compared to the last two where it's been mostly centered around what our website writes about, it wasn't as fun.
Yeah. Does Eric just... Are we having technical difficulties? Yeah, I think so.
Right.
But
sorry about that.
So CES, I mean, we'll be there every year. I'm sure it'll, you know, in like a year or two, it'll come back and be another awesome show. Just really wasn't this year. So we do have, you know, Mobile World Congress coming up. You know, we have CTIA, which is actually in Vegas again. You know, we have I/O. There's IFA every year. There's another CTIA. There's all the, you know, individual events that everyone does. It's still going to be a really busy year. We just didn't get what we normally get at CES. So. Let's talk about the HTC M7 for a second. So, Tim, do you want to talk about what the HTC M7 is? I'm not going to lie, I haven't really followed it as closely as you have. So,
The HTC M7 is the rumored flagship device that's coming out in 2013 from HTC. I think I already said HTC like 3 times now, but it's coming from HTC, and it's called the M7. And it's supposed to feature an 1.7 gigahertz quad-core Snapdragon, I think. 1080p display. I mean, really, like, specs are still unknown, but sometime this year we were supposed to, I guess, rumored to see it at CES, but obviously that did not happen. So now we're looking to MWC to brighten our days.
Okay, so before we go any further, so you said 1080p display, and isn't it rumored to have like a 4.7-inch display or something like that?
Well, now it is. Or
that doesn't even, because that doesn't exist. I don't think there's such thing as a 1080p 4.7-inch display. So,
exactly, it's all 5-inch and up.
Yeah.
At first it was supposed to be 5-inch, and then it was like a 5.1, but then it was back down to now a 4.7. So starting from today onward, it's a 4.7, a rumored 4.7-inch display.
That looks like the iPhone 5.
Yeah, that looks like the iPhone 5.
Just a little.
Well, yeah, so today a new Elite render came out, which Elite render, it's not even like a render, it's just some kid who drew on a piece of paper. It looks just like an iPhone 5. At least the shape to me it does. It's white with a little two-tone going on. And I was like, oh, cool, the new iPhone. And then it was like, the headline was like M7. And I'm like, no! Because I don't like, I don't really care for the iPhone 5 design too much, It's a little too, rectangular or something. I don't know. It just looks silly. Ron, stop laughing.
It does. I saw what you were talking about, and we laughed about it. And a lot of people were like, why do you guys think this looks like the iPhone 5? And I compared it to a picture of the iPhone 5's back.
Right.
Not the front, people, the back.
Yeah, of course, the back.
There's a panel and a panel, and the camera's housed up in the top panel. It's two-toned, and supposedly this render is of the front of the device, so It's an all black display. But I don't know if you saw that picture that supposedly leaked out. I think while we were at CES and it was like all blurred out. It looks nothing like this phone that was in this render today.
Yeah.
Well, the issue was that everyone today is like, first look at the M7. I'm like, dude, what first look? This is like second look. I thought we saw it last week.
Right.
So was that not it? People are just playing that off, or what's going on? I don't know. It's kind of frustrating because the M7 is supposed to be like some super phone, and we're getting our yanked. It sucks.
Yeah, I mean, companies are doing a better job on security front. But so this render, it's from EvLeaks, the Twitter account EvLeaks, and who's reliable as hell when it comes to leaking pictures and stuff, right? And he said it was from, what did he say? It was from like a video that was pulled from the ROM of the device, and this was like a picture.
Yeah,
like
he has the firmware. Yeah, he has the firmware of the phone, and inside the firmware there was an animation showing people how to install the SIM card for the first time. Okay. And it's just from there. So maybe it's just not even it at all. I mean, that's kind of silly because they could just use any type of like concept device to show you how to stick a SIM into a phone. So who knows?
So we have no idea.
No, we have no idea.
if this is what it's going to look like whatsoever, yeah.
Yeah, that's the world of blogging, though. Roll with it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. We'll do it live.
Ron and Eric, have you guys been following this M7 stuff? I guess so. We're hoping now, right, that it goes MWC. Do you guys care about this phone, or are you just sort of like whatever until we actually know what's going on with this damn thing?
Yeah, I don't want to get my hopes up. I'm a big HTC fan. I'm hoping that they're going to do right by this phone, but I'm not getting my hopes up because I highly doubt that it'll be coming to Verizon anyway. And if it does, it'll be some dumbed down version of it. So I don't know. I'm just not I'm not getting my hopes up yet.
I'm not either. I'm not at all. Because I don't know if anybody actually knows anything about this phone.
No one knows anything.
I mean, I think we do, or we hope we do. I don't think we do.
Well, you just have to always start the post with like, reportedly or according to blah blah blah. I mean, it's just nothing's coming from official anything.
We've seen a really big change over the last couple of years when it comes to leaked devices and stuff. We used to see these things months and months in advance, and companies are actually doing a pretty good job at keeping these things in house now. I mean, I think we had a picture of the Droid 2 or Droid X or something like 3 or 4 months before they ever arrived, and that was long ago.
Well, somebody I think it was Engadget had like a full review of the thing before it like came. Like they had like a first impressions thing because some employee had it, and so they spent a lot of time with it.
Yeah, it just used to be the Wild West, and they've all sort of toned it down or tried to keep it in house more.
Except for Apple, who like gets every single possible thing released beforehand.
Yeah, they've gotten worse. As the rest of the industry's locked it down, Apple just keeps getting worse and worse.
After promising more secrecy, they had some of the worst. This last year in particular, we saw like literally every single product before it got released.
Well, it's kind of ridiculous. Like, so sure, you might get the whole phone leaked, but then again, Apple has websites that are dedicated to leaking. Here are the hardware screws that are going to be used in the UI. Here's the antenna. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Give me a break.
It is ridiculous.
So,
I wonder if we'll see that with the Galaxy S4 or something like that. It's sort of like the new
Galaxy S4.
What is that? Yeah.
The
Galaxy Note.
Never heard of that.
But didn't the Galaxy Note 3 leak today or something like that? It's so silly. Galaxy S4 and Note 3 are so far away. We should not even be mentioned.
When did the Galaxy S3 launch?
May.
Last year. What? May?
Well, I think they announced it in May and it launched in July or something like that.
Yeah.
And the Note 2 was all of 3 months ago. And now we're talking about the Note 3.
Because I want it, and we're going to keep talking about it if I want it.
And it's going to be 6.3 inches.
That's not confirmed.
That's not confirmed? I thought for sure that it was.
Nothing is confirmed.
Although, we do, well, at least we're pretty damn sure that the Galaxy S4 will have a 5-inch 1080p AMOLED, right? I mean,
that's what they said.
Yeah. Well, they had a big display up at CES that showed like the evolution of AMOLED actually on there. I don't know.
Some website went so far as to like put their name on saying that the S4 was going to be one of those flexible displays that wrapped around the edge. They were like, oh well, the F stands for flexible, and we're pretty sure that it's going to happen. Like what?
No, definitely not happening.
Well, it was like it was it said like FHD or something on that picture,
Oh,
and
right.
they were like, "Oh, the F means flexible."
Flexible.
And,
No doubt.
Yeah,
No doubt.
not,
just throw
not
that on
full
there.
HD like it means literally everywhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just with the Samsung AMOLED, it means flexible.
Right. Right. Everywhere else it means 1080p, but there.
That's cute, though. That's cute.
Yeah. Well, hey,
Okay,
maybe they don't read a lot, you know? Not everybody can read everything. It's fine. Gotta learn
That is
somehow.
true. Not everyone can
Yeah.
read, but apparently they can write bad stories.
Yes.
Let's talk about Google Glass, this new hackathon that's coming up. So last night, I believe, they started sending out invites or something to those that had done the pre-order $1,500 thing at I/O. And they said, come to, is it New York and San Francisco? We're going to do a hackathon. Show up, play with the things, create apps or things or something for them. Should be a lot of fun. How far do we think Google Glass has come since we last saw it? It's kind of gone away for a while. You know, it takes pictures. We know that. I don't know if we know that it really does anything else. Do you guys think we'll see anything fun? Any predictions on that, Google Glass?
Well, nothing is confirmed, so we could be waiting a while. But no, I mean, what the guy, even the project manager from Google was like, yeah, we don't know what this thing's really going to be used for, but we're working on it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, I think Google is actually going to really rely on developers to kind of show them where to go with it. I mean, they mentioned that at Google I/O, so you guys are going to help us shape this. So
This is the first step towards that happening, probably.
definitely, it's going to be exciting. I think once developers either start arriving on scene and coming back, they're going to be talking about it, unless Google makes them sign NDAs or something. But I don't think that'll happen.
That would be
But,
lame.
That would be lame,
Possible.
That is
Possible.
It is possible, though, yeah.
Yeah.
but also lame.
But it would be, I mean, I think the only thing, I mean, obviously it's not going to be good for any actual, as an input device, unless you're going to talk to it, and nobody's going to talk to it. But it would be a pretty sweet thing if they had Google Now built into it, where you have stuff that you don't need to give any input for, and you can just easily cycle through that. That would be pretty awesome, you know, especially like as you're driving, throwing that thing on so you can keep your directions going in front of you without having some stupid robot say them at you just as you miss your turn. You know, having that stuff like visibly in front of you, that's awesome. Having that kind of thing on there.
I don't know if I could do that. That would freak me out.
Eric would crash.
If it was like right here, like that,
Yeah,
close, I don't
just,
know.
like,
That would
staring
be
at
pretty.
you,
That would
staring
be
down
pretty
at you.
crazy.
Droid eye in the background, just glaring at you.
Droid. It'd be pretty awesome.
That would be pretty great if you had like a live wallpaper just going at your eye the entire
The
time.
Eye of Sauron, but just
Yeah.
the droid eye in the middle of it, just
Yeah.
watching.
And then a notification also every once in a while.
Or if
Yeah,
you just,
I'm
watch
watching.
a movie, while you're going or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
The government will crack down on it, no
I'm
doubt.
sure.
Oh, hell yeah, they'll hate all over it. But I like that idea, though, of just maybe they already do this, figure out a way to sort of stream your screen to the little mini screen so you can at least see the content that's going on there.
Yeah, because they can't use that for something that you're going to be putting input on. So it's got to be something that they're guessing for you, or stuff that's coming in on your phone. So, but I don't know if that's that's honestly not any better than like having a smartwatch. So I don't know why they would push that instead of a watch, which is probably far more likely for people to actually get instead of.
Speaking of smartwatches, that Google Now smartwatch that we wrote up this week, that was awesome.
Oh yeah, the Google Time thing. Yeah, that was cool.
That was freaking awesome.
Yeah,
I would
I mean,
buy that day one.
Yeah, I mean it's too bad it was just a concept and it'll
Yeah.
it'll never go anywhere. But I mean maybe some of these smartwatch designers will look at that and get some good ideas because all the other smartwatches suck. Other than Pebble, Pebble does look cool, but it's so far different from that because the screen technology and all that stuff.
Yeah, but that I mean, even the design concept of it, I mean, you'd have to have a pretty big screen, not to mention the battery on that. So I don't think we're anywhere near being able to do something like that you would want to actually wear all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it would be a giant, worse than those like calculator watch things that we
Yes.
had. That we had
It
in
would be about the.
1994.
It would be bigger than a Moto Active, and that's just.
Yeah.
It's a tank. Yeah, definitely a tank. But so Google Glass, are we going to get maybe a new version of it? Because the original version that we saw at I/O was kind of big and clunky behind the ear, I believe, and the battery life was awful. I think they even mentioned, and it really did nothing but take pictures. So hopefully we get a new version by now. It's been 8 months or something like that. No, 6, 7, I don't know, something like that.
About 7
Hopefully-
months.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we see some progress. We saw the original sort of concept that was so far out there from ever becoming a reality, and then we saw it at I/O, and it was still so early on, it couldn't do much. So hopefully now that they're going to let developers have their chance at it, we see a lot more innovation or something. Hopefully Google's been working hard.
I think with the splash that they made at I/O last year, with old boy jumping out of a plane onto the thing, I don't think they can resist not doing that again. I feel like they're gonna do something. They're gonna hammer down something, some kind of upgrade for the device, and then, do some big entrance to show it off in the middle of the keynote.
Well, let's be thankful they didn't jump out of a plane with a Nexus Q, or we would be screwed.
Speaking of the Nexus Q, I was reading through some websites like Top Innovations, it was a magazine. I was looking at like stuff or something. Somebody sent it to me, and it was like Top Design of the Year, Tech Design, and the Nexus Q like took their award. Don't get me wrong.
Because it looks cool. It looks cool.
Mm-hmm. The design's really cool. Everything on the inside, software-wise, not so good. Thought that was interesting. I hadn't seen that mentioned in a long, long time.
And to anyone asking, no, we didn't. Kellen nor myself ordered a pair of Google glasses.
No, sorry. I mean, we probably could have.
Well, we could have, but it was just meh.
It was $1,500 to get a product that's not even going to be close to being final or finished, and we're not a developer, so we would have spent $1,500 to go Google Glass unboxing, and then we would have looked through it, and we wouldn't have been able to show you anything through it, and then we would have put it aside and waited.
It would have sat right on top of the Nexus Q.
Yeah, it would have sat over there for like 6
Or you
months.
stick a nose on the Nexus Q, and then you put the glasses on the Q, and then you're good to go.
I mean, it would have gotten less use than our Nexus Q. So hopefully when those become a reality and come retail in like 4 years, we'll pick one up then and do a review of it.
Nexus Q is the next pet rock. That's what I was thinking.
It's the next pet rock. Yeah, you can't fit it in your pocket though. Let's talk about. Not yet. Let's just talk briefly about Sprint Galaxy Nexus, which apparently has Android 4.2.1 update live right now. You can pull it from Google. Some folks over at XDA found it on Google servers, and it's spammed out all over the internet. So the reason we want to talk about it is because we all have the Verizon Galaxy Nexus, which doesn't have Android 4.2.1. I don't know that we need to hammer home the fact that Verizon is awful at updating anything, but come on. Even Sprint's been known as really slow and bad about this, and here's a leak of the damn thing. Anybody have any thoughts on that? You feel free to just trash all over anyone you want right now. Open forum.
It seems like a fight between Verizon and Google at this point. It's like, how bad can we make your flagship Nexus device look, on our network? Do
you really honestly feel that way? Like Verizon is out to get Google?
I don't know. I don't know any other reason why Verizon is taking so long with these updates as composed to every other carrier.
Google did push up that the bid for the LTE spectrum that Verizon eventually got.
So they might just
that could be. I mean, Google was like purposely just pushing it up and up and up.
It just feels like there's something going on backdoors that Verizon's just like, yes, we're not going to update this,
How are they saying
that? So Verizon in backdoors.
Yeah.
Yikes. I don't know that initially are holding it against them or anything like that, but I just think they said, you're nobody special, so we're going to update it in the same line that we update all of our crap. And
which is never.
Which is never. And so I can't even remember how long ago it was that I wrote about the Galaxy Nexus being like 3 updates behind. Because it's the Verizon version officially is still in like 4.1.1. And we've since had 4.1.2, 4.2, and now 4.2.1. So it's sort of.
And now 4.2.2 apparently.
Oh, yeah. 4.2.2 coming. Oh, Tim thinks it's all a big hoax.
Don't go there, dude.
Tim thinks everything is a hoax this week, by the way.
Because it is. Everything. Lance Armstrong, Matt Te'o, everything.
Well, when nothing is confirmed, it all must just be bullshit or BS. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm just tired. I'm tired of getting played, man. I'm tired of getting played.
I'm just thinking of writing up like the Note 3 when the Note 2's been out for a half a week.
I'll handle it then.
All right, well, let's talk really quickly about Q1 of this year, which we're in right now. So we were discussing this a little bit before the show, and Q1 is this month, February and March, and typically companies have to report quarterly earnings and show that they're making money and doing things to make money. And as of now, we have nothing from Verizon or AT&T. I don't think we have anything from Sprint or T-Mobile for Q1. So are we going to see anything from these guys, or are they just going to push holiday stuff? We got to see something, right?
Something, right? Well, no.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they going to sell for the next 3 months?
Just roll with your Q4 lineup, man.
No, the only thing that we've seen that's going to be out within like the next month or so is the Stratosphere 3.
Oh yeah.
The Stratosphere 3.
And the Spectrum 2 or something like that. I mean,
forgot about that powerhouse.
I think that's already out.
Well, it's been, but I mean, you know, it's recent. I mean, you know, it still hasn't gone to the back shelf yet.
I don't know. Maybe Verizon will try and make up more Windows 8 commercials to show until something interesting shows up.
Right.
I'm just confused at how they can not announce anything.
Not make money from actually not putting anything out.
Well,
yeah, I mean, in order to create buzz, you have to have new products, right? We're in this crazy cycle where people want new all the time. I know we just got the DNA, and we got the Note 2, and we've got a whole lineup of stuff for the holidays, but last year we got at least the Razer Max and the Droid 4 and the Spectrum.
We just got done. Oh,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, you go.
I'm going to go. I'm declaring it.
We just got done yelling at companies because they were releasing phones every couple weeks. And
Hey,
now
I
we
will
have
never yell at a company for doing that because it gives us something to talk about.
It's true.
I will.
But there was a big hubbub about, releasing phones way too quickly, and now I think they have maybe listened and are taking a little bit longer.
Well, you did have a few companies saying, yeah, we're going to cut back on all this crap we're pushing out and just kind of focus on, a few flagships, a few super phones and stuff, and I think that's good. That doesn't really account for all the players in the game, but it definitely accounts for a few of them. Yeah. I mean, really, we can't expect Samsung to be pushing out a whole bunch of devices while they're busy working on everything else they got going on, but HTC we know is cutting back. Thank God. They should have cut back on the SV. Like, that thing's...
What is the SV? We don't need to talk about that.
It's the best phone ever.
No, we don't need to talk about it.
I asked them point blank what the SV meant, and they didn't have an answer. Anyway, keep going.
It's like straight up for cricket, like only.
It stands for Super Voltron.
This is the HTC Super Voltron.
How awesome would that? Like, I'd buy that phone.
Just for the name?
Yeah, sure.
The Super Voltron. So yeah, you got companies cutting back, but then again, I guess it's kind of hard to cut back to the point to where we have nothing to talk about, basically.
Yeah, it sucks. I think Motorola needs to adopt Q1 because HTC is kind of done end of Q1, Q2. That's kind of their period, and Samsung is early or end of early.
Q2, Q3.
We haven't heard anything from Motorola. I mean,
no, we haven't. And then we have the holiday season, which is everyone. So it's Motorola needs to just take over Q1 to give us something to talk about. I don't. The X phone not coming for a while, right?
Right. Well, nothing's confirmed, so we're gonna wait.
I wouldn't be surprised if they announced that at I/O. I would not be surprised at all.
Not only should they announce it, they should give us all one. Then we'll be happy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
you two
I would
be happy.
be really happy with that.
I'll be happy if I get a ticket this year.
Yeah, hopefully they fix that process. But yeah, so we have nothing coming in Q1 except potentially this HTC M7, which if it shows up, it'll be announced, mid Q1 at MWC, and then hopefully show up shortly thereafter.
You know what it's going to be? I just figured it out. Q1, you're going to be able to buy the Nexus 4.
No, you're not.
Oh man.
Finally,
that's
they're going to have 12 of them.
Yeah, T-Mobile announced today that it's going to be in all of their stores nationwide.
Soon.
If they can actually get the damn thing in stock.
Well, they said they're in some, but not all yet, of course.
Yeah, I was talking about. I wrote up something earlier that said you can go buy this thing on Amazon for like $500, and somebody said, "No, my local T-Mobile store has it." And I looked on T-Mobile.com, and they have nothing. It said out of stock. So maybe a few select stores have it, but
yeah, well, I think they're pushing them in the stores because they haven't been online on T-Mobile for forever. They were barely on there from the beginning, and then I haven't seen them since.
Yeah, it was definitely sold out when I looked earlier. But LG's sort of denied that there's any issue there, so maybe that does mean that we're getting another shipment. What a disaster.
They don't even know what they're talking about.
No, I don't think they do. Google was like, yeah, you guys are erratic and scarce with your supplies, and LG went, no, everything's just as it's supposed to be. Just fine.
There could also be some, there could be some type of language barrier as well, like apples and oranges, man. I don't know what's going on.
I certainly hope not. They work together to build a damn phone. Yeah. And speaking of that, I was telling you guys earlier, and I'll tell the chat, I actually switched over. Well, I signed up for that SolaV service to go T-Mobile because AT&T's HSBA Plus is way too freaking slow. So I'm going to try out T-Mobile for a while, and hopefully it's not awful in Portland. If anybody's in the chat that lives in Portland has T-Mobile service, please tell me I made a good decision. So I'll let you know how that goes.
It's going to be no's across the board.
Everyone's like, we don't use T-Mobile, or we can't buy Nexus 4 because they've been sold out for 3 months. Does anybody have any predictions for 2013 going forward? Somebody just lay out the whole timeline for the year.
Oh, that's kind of difficult. I didn't have time to prepare.
This is definitely on the spot kind of show.
I've always said, and always will say, from about last week, I've always said this, that going forward is Samsung. This is all Samsung, man. I think about it because I write about it, and I'm like, dude, I'm writing about Samsung a lot lately because really they're just making moves, and people are loving their phones. They have brand recognition on their side now. I think in terms of competition, you only have Apple, and Samsung's kind of kicking their behind at the moment.
Are you happy with that, though, that it's become a Samsung world?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if you would have asked me last year, I would have been like, oh. But 2013 is looking bright when it comes. I'm digging Samsung lately because it's my Note 2 I've fallen in love with. It's completely blinded me. If I still had like the 1X, maybe I'd think differently. But I don't know. Samsung, I like what they got going on, and I'll be honest. Like I'm not really down for the 6.3-inch rumors, like with the Note 2. But other than that, I'm excited to see what the S4 brings, and yeah. Other than that, yeah, 2013's got nothing going on.
You're like, all I care about is what Samsung's doing.
And the M7, but nothing is confirmed, so we're still waiting to see like what's going to happen with the M7. If you would have asked me in December, I would have been like, oh, M7, and now it's January, and I'm like, oh, Samsung. It's just, it's an ever-changing deal, man. Next week it's going to be Huawei or whatever. And, yeah.
Huawei. They are my
Not
favorite
anymore.
now. I hope they come to the U.S. and just dominate. Just so I can see them with fish tanks and pitchers of water on stage.
That'll be how you get your phone. That'll be in a fish tank, and you'll reach in to get it.
That's part of the battle to get your phone.
Like in their own stores, you'll walk into a store and you have to pick your one from there'll be a tank like a lobster, and you pick your phone out of there just to prove how great it is.
The Huawei lobster.
Yeah.
Just the Ascent lobster. Ron, give me your thoughts on 2013.
Who knows? I mean, I'm hoping, like Tim was saying, Samsung's been dominating. They've really been dominating for the last year. It's just we were all hoping that the other manufacturers would pull out of the tailspin they've all been in. Like I did that post in Q1 of 2012 talking about like here's where all the manufacturers are, and then people have been saying, why don't you do another one? It's like, and so I did one like around end of Q3, and it's like, well, everything's exactly the same. Everyone's slowly dying except for Samsung. Which I think, it's an interesting problem for Google and for, obviously for the other manufacturers it's a problem because they need to make money. But, what does that mean for Google? And their Nexus devices are not doing well either. So is Android going to become synonymous with Samsung for most people? And Tim, like you were saying, they do have a lot of brand recognition, but most of the people that I talk to, nobody knows the name Samsung Galaxy S3. Nobody knows the full thing. So I hear people say Samsung.
They don't have to, Ron. They don't have to.
They don't, but it is an issue. Now, what was it? I was listening to a podcast. I don't remember who it was because some people do actually listen to them. Somebody was talking about. Yeah.
I have numbers on that now.
I forget. I think it was the Verge Mobile show, but somebody was saying that in Japan, when they advertise the Galaxy S3, they don't put Samsung on any of their advertisements because obviously it's a Korean company, right, and Sony's not doing great, which I think is interesting. It's like they had billboards that said like "Happy Holidays from Galaxy," which is weird.
Very weird.
That is kind of weird.
Yeah, super weird. But I mean, anyway, all that to say, 2013, I think we're going to see a lot more from Samsung and them continue to dominate, and same with Apple. They're the only two companies making money. I'm hoping that HTC will pull out of their tailspin, but I have some severe doubts about that.
I also have severe doubts about that.
Yeah, I think we'll do.
Yeah, the only other company that I think can possibly pull out of it and do something good is Motorola, because I've got the Razer Max, whatever, the HD Max, all caps, and the battery on that thing is freaking incredible, and it's super close to stock, and it runs well. So I mean, it's a really, really good phone. The screen could be a little bit better, but other than that, I mean, it's a nice phone. So I think they're pushing out good products, and Verizon is obviously willing to back them in terms of marketing. So I think that they have a shot. They probably need to do, have phones across the carriers, but so if they can start pushing that and using some of the, and obviously Google has lots of money that they can throw behind that, and get their phones across the board there. I think they have a shot, but outside of that, I don't see a lot changing, at least for the better for anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really either. I'll let Eric weigh in now. Go for it.
I've said on the show before how I'm just afraid that Samsung is going to get a little bit too crazy with the S4, and I don't think they're going to have flexible displays, but I could see them just being like, oh, we are going to blow this out of the water. It's going to be so different, and I could see them backfiring, but I don't think it's going to happen. Something in the back of my mind keeps telling me that I keep replaying the scenario back here. I think Motorola is going to do really well. I'm waiting for Sony to realize that if they actually want to compete and do well, they need to be on more than just AT&T. I don't know what contract they have, or if they even have a contract with AT&T, but I'm waiting for them to man up and put their phones on Verizon and AT&T and Samsung or Sprint, and get people to actually buy their phones.
Xperia Play.
Xperia Play, what a joke. So I think I think I mentioned this before. I talked to HTC at CTIA in October, and I said, why wasn't the 1X on every carrier? And they said, in a perfect world, it would have been. They just don't have that power, and maybe Sony doesn't have that power either. And they have to settle for these exclusive deals because maybe they don't get enough love from some of these carriers. But to me, if you want to sell a ton of phones, you have to be on AT&T and Verizon. I know that sucks because they're two completely different networks. One CDMA and one GSM, but you have to be. Otherwise, you're just not going to do it. T-Mobile and Sprint are not going to sell you phones like AT&T and Verizon can. So I hope I'm sort of with you. I hope Sony realizes that. But I mean, the Z and the ZL that Tim and I looked at, they said on the card HSPA/LTE. There was nothing else. So I don't think those phones are coming anywhere.
And every time a Sony phone, every time we write about it, it's, oh man, this phone, everybody likes it, but it's never coming to Verizon, so you're never going to see it. And, even then, it might not come to AT&T. It might be, elsewhere in the world. And it's just, like I was saying, they need to man up and, go to Verizon and say, listen, I know the Xperia Play sucked. We're sorry about that, but we've got these new phones.
We've got these really new pretty phones. They are really pretty phones too. I was looking on the Sony site today just to look and see if there was a release date or something where I can import that sucker, the ZL. Such an amazing little phone. But yeah, so my thoughts or predictions, I'm sort of with you guys. I know it's going to be another year for Samsung where they just sort of destroy everyone and sort of really go to that sort of Apple level. And that's fun and all. I don't want it to just be Samsung. As much fun as we're going to have talking about and hype beasting the Galaxy S4 for the next 6 months, and then the Note 2 after that. I want Motorola to do something crazy. And when they do something crazy, I hope they didn't hire half of Google's marketing team because they don't know what apparently a TV ad is or any of that. They just think YouTube's the best way to advertise. So I hope if Motorola does something, they actually promote the hell out of it so they can bring themselves back. I mean, Samsung's shown that in order to become, the largest damn company ever, you have to spend who knows how many millions of dollars on advertising globally and all over the place. And, Google hasn't ever done that whatsoever. So I hope that...
Well, Google makes really good commercials. They just don't pay for a lot of time.
No, they do make really, really nice commercials. The only ones we've really seen anywhere in the mainstream have been for the Nexus 7. So hopefully, that changes going forward.
But yeah, it's funny that you brought up advertising on YouTube, seeing as how Google owns YouTube, and that's just like one of the greatest places to advertise something, because I mean, you're forcing people to watch a 30-second advertisement, to watch a 10-second video and all that. I mean, that's free. That's just free space for you to put your stuff. I think it's a good spot to advertise. Not that you weren't knocking it completely or whatever, but
no, I mean, I fully understand that it's a great place to advertise in YouTube. Obviously, more people are watching it more and more every single day, but they have to advertise outside of YouTube as well. Not everyone, my grandpa isn't watching YouTube. Not that he's using a smartphone. But my mom, she's not on YouTube all the time.
I bet you she is.
I mean, I don't think so.
There's something about a well-done TV commercial that can really influence a lot of people.
Well, it influenced all of us, I believe. I mean, at least me. I got my OG Droid only because I saw a TV commercial that just was like Droid.
Yeah, but that wasn't like, Google, though.
No, but you were talking about TVs influencing us, or a good ad can influence a buyer. So I think we all know how powerful they can be.
Yeah, so speaking of advertising and TV, who's going to have the big Super Bowl ad? We don't have a new product to talk about. Is Samsung just going to do a giant...
Samsung will do
Samsung.
I mean, they'll have to do something, but who else? Nobody else going to spend any money on it?
No reason to. Oh, Verizon will, they'll spend a bunch, but only just, push whatever they're dealing. Whatever.
They'll probably just do some network commercials.
Yeah, they'll just do network stuff about portable wind turbines that power... Tim, what was that random thing they tried to tell us was awesome at CES?
Those silly Verizon innovators. Yeah, just, I mean, wind generators, powers. Sorry, I'm can't even think of the word right now, just wind power.
Yeah.
I know there's a word I like to use for it, but so remote sites that aren't on the grid necessarily, are using wind energy to power these cell sites. But I just thought that should have been done 20 years ago.
Yeah, or if the power goes down, they have backup as wind power. And Tim goes, shouldn't we have done that like 20 years ago? But so speaking of Verizon at CES, we talked to them a little bit. And they were like, did you guys stop by the booth? And we said, yeah, we sort of walked through it. You guys weren't really showing much. They said, yeah, we were showing like the LTE-powered doggy door. And what was it? They had like this whole list of all this really like silly but like life-related stuff that's now powered by LTE. You can sort of see what, Verizon's sort of motto at CES was, yeah, we already have the network and we've done the phone and tablet thing. Now we're going to show you like what else we can do with LTE. So I almost don't know that we're going to see a big phone push for a little while from them. They're talking about like life changes with the network and stuff. I don't know. But so 2013 then, so the schedule sort of goes like this. We're expecting this HTC phone at MWC. And then after that, there's kind of a break while that phone sort of tries to take over. And then we'll get, I believe it's CTIA and I/O are both in May, I think. Isn't this year's I/O in May? Didn't they move? Last year was in June. I think it's in May this year.
May this year.
So we'll definitely see something then. Hopefully new hardware, though, although that's never a guarantee. And then after that, shortly after that, or around that same time, Samsung's going to announce whatever they're going to announce. Actually, it might be that month. So May might be like the month of all months for technology stuff. And then the summer, we'll probably get something. Motorola typically has done something in the summer, end of summer. Who knows if their schedule is still like that. And then the holiday season rolls around. That's when everybody sort of tries to push out one more big device so they can get holiday sales. So that's what we got. We don't have any confirmation on any of it. Obviously, we're waiting for this M7, then the Galaxy S4, and this Motorola phone, and that's sort of all we know, which is a little weird.
Nothing is confirmed.
And
that's 2012's motto, or 2013's motto. It's just nothing is confirmed.
We'll just start ending every single post that way. All right, let's move out of that stuff. Talk about apps. Yeah, talk about apps and games for a second, since it seems like we've been talking a lot about apps lately. Tim, do you got a couple you want to talk about?
Yeah, I just wanted to throw out a quick shout out to my homeboys at Google on the Chrome team with their Chrome beta. It's faster, but that's about it. Like, there's some bugs you guys got to work out. So yeah, if anyone hasn't tried out the Chrome beta for Android, it's not too bad. You just have to expect things to be broken, like nothing on Yahoo. Some of the links on Yahoo aren't working and stuff like that.
Who goes to Yahoo anyway?
Yeah, who goes
Excuse me. That's where I get all my news. What are you guys talking about?
There's your problem right there.
This is actually really funny. So every once in a while, I'm like, yeah, Tim, did you see this story? And he goes, oh, yeah, I read that on Yahoo earlier. I was like, what?
I check Yahoo every day.
Yahoo has amazing headlines. That's how I learned how to write all my headlines. I used to go to Yahoo. you twist everything until it's interesting.
Just slightly, yeah. Yep. And then put a picture in the little carousel saying that actually isn't in the article.
Yes. I love Yahoo.
I don't remember the last time I typed in the words yahoo.com. It's probably been 5 years.
Well, yeah, you have a bookmarklet and you're done. I mean, what are you doing typing? It's got to be up at the top all the time. Or homepage to solve your problem altogether. New tab,
since I haven't typed it in like 5 years, there's no bookmarklet. So I can't even click.
Do you want me to send it to you? I'll send you a link.
Their homepage has really kind of evolved, I think. Well, wait, no, it hasn't. Nothing's changed over the years, yeah. Well, it's still kind of spam. It's still pretty spammy.
I thought it was supposed to look like Google now. Didn't Marissa Meyer try to turn it into Google search or something like that?
It's not even close.
It's not even close.
Well, it's powered by Bing. They're not even doing their own search.
So it's Facebook.
It's really powered by Bing.
Yeah, they had a Microsoft deal a year or two ago.
Holy shit!
That's how far he's behind. It's alright though.
Yeah, I mean this is how far removed it is from my life.
There's no Yahoo search anymore? What?
Yeah. I mean, I really had no idea. Anyway, you were talking about Chrome Beta, which I installed, and then everything I click now prompts me. It says, "Do you want the beta or the regular?" And I'm like, "The regular, not
regular,
the broken ass
please."
beta." Yeah, the beta. Obviously, it's a beta, but they've released it twice, right? 2 releases, and there's a list of this shit's broken. Expect it to be broken, and then there's a bottom that says, "We fixed all this stuff." And since they re-released or the new update, it was like a whole new list of, well, we broke this stuff this time, but we at least fixed this stuff. That's nice of them to do. They can introduce new features that way, and we can all test it and stuff like that. But
at least they're doing work, I mean, you have to give it. You have to, yeah, give it up for the guys and girls at Google for a quick minute on the Chrome team. That's all you get.
What else? You want to talk about Redbox?
Redbox.
I'm dying to hear what you think about Redbox Instant.
Redbox Instant. Well, at first I was pretty stoked about it, only because they give you only a month free of it, and I was like, oh, awesome! I can just cancel this before the month is up. And then I was like, wait a second.
And then you found out your device was rooted.
No, actually, the Note 2 is not rooted.
Oh, okay.
But either way.
Was that in your face, Eve? Never mind.
Well, I'm sorry. The Note 2 already performs fantastically without having to root it. But anyways, Redbox Instance. It's not too terrible, except for the fact where I don't have Miracast or anything to where I could put the stuff on my TV on my big screen.
Why do you need it? You have the Note 2. You're all set.
Basically, I just attach it, sticky it to the wall. Or
just tape it to the middle of the screen.
Check this out, ladies.
Just lay it on top of your forehead. You'll be fine.
But so Redbox, it's invite only.
Invite only.
You have to have a code.
You gotta have a code, but they're sending them out in waves. Don't worry about it.
Google Waves.
No TV shows. Google Waves. Yeah, there's no TV shows. It's just movies, right?
Yeah, but okay. So I get it. There might be some skepticism in the crowd. But sometimes
just a little.
Sometimes you're at the store and you're like, hey, what's on Redbox? And there are newer movies in Redbox compared to say what's on Netflix. So if you're looking for a new movie, sure, okay, no one should pay $8 a month for it. But then again, if you find yourself at Redbox quite often, it's not a terrible app to have. Minus the fact you can't hook it up to your TV or if you're rooted. Are you there? All right. I've said.
In other words, stick with Netflix.
It's a pretty well-designed app, man. I can't knock it. Verizon in Word and working with other people to actually put out a decently built app, huge plus in my book. Other than that, it's crap.
It's crap. I tried to use it. It was like, wait, there's no show. Wait, how do I watch this on a bigger screen? Oh, I can't.
You can't. Yeah, it's kind of rough, but I mean. It's just another service that, if people really feel that they need, it is there for them if they want it. There's nothing wrong with choice.
Well, my favorite part is that Verizon, helped them create this, and they're like, watch all these streaming movies in high quality, so we can continue to rob you on data plans. Which
Oh no, well that was so funny. So yeah, today AT&T was like, yeah, FaceTime update only for people who are on tiered data. That's awesome.
Did you see that? That was
cool. Really screwing people there. I love it.
What was it? You said that there was some stuff on the Redbox thing that isn't on Netflix. What kind of stuff? Tell me.
Don't quote me on this, but I believe I saw VHS, which is like a horror movie that Kellen recommended.
That movie was actually really good.
That movie was pretty dope, and I was like, oh, they got VHS on Redbox? And then, I believe that it does not appear on Netflix. Speaking of Netflix, I was watching SEAL Team 6 earlier today. That movie kicks ass. But yeah, anyways.
SEAL Team 6 or Zero Dark 30?
SEAL Team 6.
Has anyone seen Zero Dark 30?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I hear it was
pretty good. You have to go see it.
I have no desire to see that.
What the hell?
What are you, un-American?
You hate America.
Well, no, that's the thing.
I don't hate America as much as I love Osama bin Laden.
But you should at least love him.
Oh, yeah. Let me guess. You drive a Prius.
I do.
You
don't leave Zero Dark 30 saying, "Oh man, I am glad about being American." Like you don't. It doesn't give off.
Oh really? It's not a happy
really
Patriot movie?
No, you have to go see it. It's
well, I definitely want to see it.
I give people everywhere all the time crap for not driving American cars, and I drive a Honda, so I'm just kind of like, whatever. Anyways, let's move on.
Okay, so I just wanted to throw out this QM launcher that we talked about earlier this week, and not because I'm recommending you go out and spend $5 on it, because it's just one of those random app concepts that you just sort of go, what the hell are these people thinking? So QM launcher, if you guys saw this, it basically takes over, it's a third-party launcher, and it takes over your home screen and puts this rotating cube on it, and they're trying to sell it as this is the most innovative way, quickest way ever to select apps and folders, and what do they call it, Tim? Like the Matrix. They were like, add a folder into the Matrix, and then you can expand, and you can put task shortcuts. You just have to spin it with your little finger, press on thing, and it looks like the most impossible launcher ever.
It just makes no sense whatsoever. It makes no sense.
And
then you got the sub-matrix, which is a real pain in the ass.
That's right, the sub-matrix. And you can just keep going sub-matrix, sub-matrix. It just looks so ridiculous. And then at the top, they're like, and there's a few widgets you can put up here. But this giant cube just like takes over your whole screen.
Take the blue pill. You don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Screw that.
Once I heard sub-matrix, I didn't even want to test the damn thing. But anyway, give it a shot if you feel like something completely out there. Yeah. All right, Ron, did you have an app?
Yeah, the app that I'm always looking for a new Twitter app that I don't totally hate.
Crap.
Yeah. So the one that I finally converted to Falcon Pro. That's the one that I use now. I finally gave in. But in my search for a good app, I found Tweetings, which was just I eventually switched over to Falcon because it works better on a bigger screen when you're swiping between things, because a lot of apps still put stuff that you need to use often on the top of the screen, which was fine when you had regular size phones, but with giant phones you have to use two hands. But anyway, Tweetings is a Twitter app, and you can add all sorts of different columns for those of you that like columns that are still using TweetDeck or TweetDeck, which I really don't understand why you would still use that, but if you're looking for something that's actually better and holo-themed and gives you, tons of settings. It's got mute settings. It's got, you can add like a trending tab, stuff like that. You can do basically anything you want with this thing. I think it's $3 in the App Store, but it's...
Damn. Cheap-ass Android people aren't going to buy that.
I know, it might be a little too expensive, and luckily the developer doesn't think you can afford it, so that's all, all positives there. But if you're rich and you can spend the $3, if you're a Prius owner like me, I don't own a Prius.
If you own an iPad, you can afford this app.
But if you're rich, you shouldn't own an Android phone. You should just own all.
If you're even thinking about buying the Nexus 7, this app isn't for you.
No go, no deal.
Yeah. If you're the one that looked for a deal on a phone, like if you're going to Amazon to get the $99 Droid DNA, don't buy this app. Not for you.
Not for you.
So if I can just put out a personal request, Ron, if you may please join Instagram again, so I stopped getting Tumblr links in my Twitter feed from you. That would be great.
You don't love my Tumblr links? You don't like seeing what my new Spider-Man wallpaper is?
I miss your Instagram posts.
You missed them? I can't. The problem is I deleted my account, so I can't add
Oh,
anything
Jesus.
I know. I went all the way.
I missed the sandwich shop posts. Those are the ones I missed.
Yeah, I'm liking Tumblr a lot. The app's really nice.
Tumblr's been good for a while.
Yeah, but I post my pictures on Flickr. That's where I'm at for there.
Apparently, Osama bin Laden liked Tumblr over Instagram.
He did.
Who says? Is that confirmed?
It is.
It was in Zero Dark 30.
With people familiar with the matter.
Still not confirmed.
Yes, people, I'm wearing a Spider-Man shirt.
Yeah,
That's what everyone is talking about. I'm even getting personal text messages saying, "What shirt is Ron wearing?" I'm like, "It's a freaking Spider-Man shirt."
It's Spider-Man.
Tim's rocking the IO shirt.
IO, baby. Hey, dude, I'm sorry. I tried to look for my Fact Wars shirt. I think it's somewhere. I couldn't find it.
It's still in Vegas.
No, it could be in Humboldt. It still might be in Cali. I don't know.
I looked for mine and couldn't find the damn thing.
Fact Wars.
The Fact Wars shirt. Oh, Ron, did you want to talk about Google Apps and iOS and some things like that? You had a
yeah, we can if we got time for it.
We got a couple minutes here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll have a post soon that I've been working on for a while, but the gist of it is we've kind of seen Google start. They're releasing. They have I think 20-something apps on the App Store and iOS, their own apps. But the thing that's kind of different about what they've been doing is the last few apps that they've released, Gmail and Maps in particular, are actually really, really good. And so, obviously, in the past, like the original Gmail app for iOS was really, really crappy. But this one's really nice. It's got lots of loading animations. All the iOS apps have pull to refresh, and for some reason, none of Google's apps on Android do, which is super annoying. So it's kind of an interesting thing, and maybe you guys have some thoughts on this, but they've made a shift. Google's original goal when they bought Android was, hey, let's try and push Microsoft out of the mobile space, which has definitely been done. They're basically irrelevant.
Yeah.
And now instead of them shifting strategies and going head on for Apple, which they definitely did to some degree, through 09 and 010, they're just kind of supporting iOS and I think the update for Google Plus, I think that was iOS only at first, and they eventually pushed it out to Android. So, they're doing strange things. The Gmail app looks way nicer on iOS than it does on Android. All the same functionality. Neither of them can add labels, which is great. I don't want that, obviously. But it's just an interesting thing that they're not only doing, they're not only putting out good apps, but I like the Gmail app on iOS more than I like it on Android. Maps can go either way. It's kind of the same. But I think that's what do you guys think about that shift in strategy? You guys think that Google will eventually start going after Apple again, or is this going to be a two-horse race forever?
Well, I think they already are. I think they're saying, yeah, we can do Apple's apps better than they can. With the Gmail, and the Gmail looks fantastic now that they've devoured Sparrow and the whole Maps debacle. I don't know anybody that has an iPhone that hasn't downloaded the Google Maps app and stopped using the Apple Maps. So I think they are going after Apple. The only reason I think they have pulled a refresh on iPhone is because they know if they didn't have it in there, everyone would bitch and not use their app. And on Android, we're kind of conditioned, oh, yeah, well, we don't have it, so I don't think anybody's going to complain. But
I do.
On Android, we're wasting space with a refresh button. That doesn't need to be there,
Yeah.
We've talked about this a little bit, I think, when the iOS Gmail app came out, because I was complaining about the fact that it looked crazy pretty and compared to the really ugly Android version. And I don't know why they're doing it. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. I know I guess in Gmail on iOS, Google's not. There's no ads in there. It's not like they're making money from it, right?
No, there are no ads, but it looks and feels a lot more polished. Yeah, it's just, and they've got the swiping to archive, everything else like that. So it's in parity. It's just instead of exposing all the tools along the bottom, everything's just hidden away. Which most of that stuff you really don't use a lot.
Right.
So
It has the side panel that you can switch users and stuff. Yeah, it's really nice. So I have no idea. It sucks though. It seems like Android being their baby should get everything first and the best looking. But you're right. They didn't with Google Plus when that got a first really big overhaul. We still haven't gotten some of the new features that iOS Maps has. The Google Maps on iOS, I guess. I don't know forever. Obviously, we will at some point, but it's been. I mean, iOS Gmail came out, the new version. It's been over a month, hasn't it? 2 months.
It came out in December, so
it's been a while. I don't know. It's definitely unfortunate. I hope that changes. I don't know why they would go to iOS first. I guess is what I'm saying. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's a strange thing to see them doing that. So
it seems like they should be testing their own apps on Android first, especially since Android has more of a market share.
Yeah, so
none of it makes sense.
Well, maybe they just know that Android users are cheap. They'll leave crappy reviews since they're free or whatever. I don't know.
Right. I'm gonna spend $3 on an app.
But either way, no, I think
too much.
Well, I mean, not only that, but then again, maybe it's just from examples of history that apps are just kind of they're better on iOS. I mean, it's not a knock on Android or anything like that, but for the longest time, iOS has always had the apps. They have fantastic applications, and they're pretty, and they're fluid, smooth, and liquidy. And who knows why Google would release them first on iOS, but
I love liquidy apps.
As long as people are happy, I just want people to be happy. And as long as they're happy with Google, it's like, whoa, man, Google's putting out these awesome apps. Maybe I want to get more into that Google ecosystem. Oh, wait, there's an Android phone, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but
that's
then
what I was
that
thinking. I'm thinking.
Sorry.
I was thinking. A part of me was saying, they put this out on the iPhone, and then they're like, oh man, Google can make this really good app, and then they grab their buddies
Android and it's crap.
And they look at the Gmail app on there, and they're like, "Wait a second, this isn't even close." Then that makes So I'm just running into a wall here.
And the strange thing about it is the iOS app, when you don't have any messages in there, it has a little sun and it says "Have a nice day," which I always complain about because I don't want Google telling me how to live my life. But when it's empty on the Android app, it's just blank space and you feel empty and alone. But even the highlight, to compose a new message, that's a red button in iOS versus in Android. I think it's just, I don't remember what it is, but it's not red.
It's just a little tiny icon,
yeah. It's just black and white, I guess. So even the iOS app looks and feels more like the Gmail and the web. So it's even that is more in parity versus the Android app. So it's a strange thing that they're doing that. I don't really get it, and especially it would make sense if Gmail hadn't been updated in a while. But the Gmail app for iOS came out a week after the last big update for Gmail, or had pinch to zoom and all that other stuff. So it's a weird thing. So, but and it doesn't make any sense either, because you would think, oh, maybe they're going to have pretty good apps on iOS, but then they're really good on Android, but they're actually in parity at least, and they look a lot nicer on iOS. And all of them are on there. I mean, you can do Drive, everything else like that. Everything is, that whole Google ecosystem you have access to on iOS now. So it's weird.
It's very weird. Maybe it's Google admitting that it's easier to develop for iOS.
Well, and then at this point, you got to wonder how much of the Sparrow team actually did the work on it, because they didn't buy it for nothing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was done before Sparrow was able to do anything. So
really?
In theory, they're going to be doing something else. So maybe they'll be doing something. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's what we suspected, because it was a lot nicer. But yeah, they said they did not have a hand in it.
That's interesting.
Weird. It is very weird. I don't understand what they're doing. All right, well, I don't know. You guys want to wrap up? Unless you got anything else you want to toss out there? Hasn't been any other real hot topics. Been sort of, since CES, been a little slow, been a little quiet.
Yeah, go for it, Eric. Just shout it out, kid.
Yeah, I got this tablet. I got this tablet case. Back in the day, in September, a month leading up to my birthday, I said, you know what? I want a case for my Nexus 7. So I started looking. And I heard good things about Portenzo, but we had already reviewed them on the website. So I was looking for another company that I could, look. And a lot of people had mentioned Tree Glue in the comments of our Portenzo story. So, I put it on my birthday list. I was like, hey, these aren't too expensive. Why don't you give me one? So it was ordered the last week of September to be there, for my birthday in the first week of October. Granted, we probably ordered a little bit late because these things are handmade, But I just got this about 3 days ago. So last week of September, and you get it the second week of January. Granted, Hurricane Sandy happened, and they said that messed up their order chain. And then the holidays was their second reason. It's a very well-made case.
Excuses.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can get them with a bunch of different stuff. I got mine. I really liked, you can get custom insides on the cover here.
Is that New York?
And it's got the little magnet, so it turns it off and on when you open and close it.
Are these handmade like the Portenzo ones?
Yeah, handmade. You can, and that's a tiny bit of a downside. You can almost tell that it's handmade in some parts of it, but it's very well put together. The wooden case around the neck, the actual tablet's very solid.
But they have a lot more options than Portenzo, right? Like a lot more things you can tweak or something like that.
Yeah, you can change the color of the thing. You can change the fabric here. You can get different colors for this. You can get different maps for this.
Can you put a stand in it like the Portenzo ones we got?
Yeah, you can get a stand. You can have it so where it's got a magnetic thing instead of a elastic strap. You can even change the color of the wood.
Oh, damn.
So, I mean, they've got a lot. They've got a lot of options as far as customization goes.
Price.
But it was
like starting price.
35,
50
40?
bucks? Oh, what?
Oh.
No, like 30 or 40 bucks is starting price.
Not bad.
So
they're really nice cases. I mean, if they're anything like the Portenzo ones that me and Kellen got, they're awesome.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna write up a review on it, and do it official. But I just can't get around the fact that it took so long to get there. I just there's no way I can write it. So I guess Kellen and I'll talk about it, but there's no way that I can write a review without saying, this is gonna take a long time to get there.
Just say that it might take a while.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, Portenzo takes a while. They have to hand make those. They take a while. If it's a handmade case, it's sort of expected it'll take a little while.
But then again, you got the holidays and Sandy and all that stuff. I mean, they got a little leeway there, but not.
Yeah, it was
4 months.
It ended up being like pulling teeth.
Depending on where they were, though.
They want the link. They want a link in the chat. What was the name again, Eric, of the company?
Tree Glue. Here, I'll type it in.
Oh, Tree Glue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's all made out of recycled and environmentally friendly materials.
Oh well, no, thank you. How dare you give me recycled goods?
Stuff, then,
I don't want a recycled case. I want a new case.
So yeah, I mean, I've been
that is American. Yeah. Oh right, they are un-American. Yeah, okay.
Made in the USA.
Woo!
So yeah, expect that sometime before the end of this week.
Yeah, for sure. I want to see some pretty pictures of it instead of the hangout version.
Yeah, the crappy webcam version.
Yeah, Ron, what do you think of that Razer Max? You like it actually? How long have you had it?
Almost 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
So I like it.
Bad, right? We took it to ours to CES and it worked well.
Yeah, I mean, if you want something that has battery, I mean, this thing just keeps going. So it's nice. It's not. Most of the apps are not super skinned. But yeah, the only thing that I don't like the case. I don't know if you guys can see this at all, but the back looks horrible. I don't care for that. And then I put a picture on Flickr, and I think maybe on Tumblr too, so Tim can see it. But
I saw it.
Yeah, the casing around it's got this metal band. It's not actually metal, but it looks like metal, and it's not flush along the so it doesn't look good.
You're right. Yeah.
And that drives me crazy. Just seeing little details like that, and the edge of it here is not flush either along the side, so you can feel that as you're holding it. So there's little as far as design and quality of it that I don't care for. But if I was going to get an Android phone right now and I was on Verizon, I'd get that over anything else. It is, for the battery alone, it's great.
I sense some DNA hate going on in there. Actually, it is, the battery is insane on it, but it's definitely an acquired taste for a design. That's for sure.
Yeah, it just looks like crap. So if you can get past that,
yeah. Hopefully, the new Motorola takes design seriously and not Kevlar.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. The Kevlar, I mean, the Kevlar wouldn't be bad. It's just they got this stupid, weird two-tone thing going on.
Jesus.
Whoa!
Yeah, that's probably, that's
I
probably
will say, the Note 2 has the strongest vibration of any device I've ever had.
Go on.
Of
any device,
jumped up
wow.
off the table.
Basically.
right under his lap. That's probably a good place to quit right there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for joining in again, everybody. Droid Life Show. We'll be back next week. We'll probably do an early show again. Got some stuff going on, but
Some stuff.
Tim, they want to know when the Tato Show is coming back.
Not tonight. Blazers game tonight. Next week for sure. We got a lot. We got a lot of stuff.
Next Wednesday too.
Oh crap. Well, I was thinking about changing the date anyway because sitting here all day, then doing the DL show, then doing a Tato show might be a little brutal. Yeah. So leave me suggestions in the chat on what day I should do the Tato show. Any day except Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and we'll talk.
So, or Wednesday.
Yeah, or Wednesday. And other than that, we can totally make something work. I would love to chat and drink more alcoholic beverages.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Droid Life Show. Thanks again, everybody. We'll have a replay up shortly in case you want to listen to us over and over and over again. So anyway, thanks for joining us. Everybody have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
Night, guys.
Go Pacers.